MV Fairplayer. She's the strongest and one of the newest ships in the world.
You always expect some teething problems with a new ship. Expect the unexpected.
She'll use her giant cranes to lift some of the biggest, heaviest cargo ever.
Everything is actually being tested for the first time in a real lifting situation.
She'll battle the unknown every day.
I'm definitely not planning to go down with the ship.
She's got a lot to prove on her maiden voyage. Fairplayer is sailing to Ortona, Italy for her first job. There are only 150 ships like her in the world. Fairplayer's built to be the strongest, but she can't claim the heavyweight crown until she completes her maiden voyage. Captain Alex Kukuk is the veteran who will guide her.
Yeah, it's the first voyage of the ship. You always expect some teething problems with a new ship. Expect the unexpected.
She's Dutch-owned, built in Romania, and now in Ortona, Italy. She can lift and carry 13,000 tons. On her first job, she'll be picking up and carrying 5 enormous oil refinery components. At a total weight of 4,000 tons, they're about the biggest, heaviest pieces any ship has ever lifted. Fairplayer will carry her cargo through the Mediterranean. She'll head for the port of Aviles in northern Spain to pick up more components. Then she'll cross the vast and unpredictable Atlantic to a refinery in Port Arthur, Texas, all in under 3 weeks. Lifting this huge cargo requires brains as well as brawn. Port Captain Martin Toylen has the engineering know-how. His biggest concern: don't tip the boat over.
That is the really main thought, keep the ship upright at all times. It would be very nasty to have her rolling over.
It would be equally nasty if all that weight she's about to load pushes her down to the bottom of the harbor. Her hull could rip open. She's built to work in shallow water, but Ortona's port pushes the envelope.
We have an extra challenge in this port because there's not much water under the keel. So there's a real fine line. It's close.
With only 4 meters of water to work in, with every ton she loads, she'll drop fast. She'll have to lose weight before cargo goes on, or her maiden voyage will be over before it's begun. The 'tween decks and green deck hatches are jettisoned.
By taking off the main deck hatches and the twin deck hatches, we will reduce the weight by approximately 850 tons, which will decrease the ship's draft for about 40 centimeters, 40 centimeters.
Raising the ship 40 centimeters gives her a fighting chance for a successful load. Fairplayer's now ready to move to her loading berth. But the harbor pilot has never moved a ship that is so close to scraping the bottom.
He's afraid because, as you can see here now, only 2 meters 40 water under the keel, which is here in the front. In the aft, we have a half meter less. So he was a bit afraid of that. But anyway, we got there in one piece. Let's start loading.
The two 42-meter cranes are the actual muscles of the ship. Each can lift a whopping 900 tons. That's 4 times the weight of the Statue of Liberty. They're rugged, but the crew handles them gently.
What you have to be particularly careful with is the cranes, operating the cranes in port. Cranes are a major feature of our ship, and it's our breadwinner.
The ship cost about $150 million to build. The cranes are 50 of that.
Of course, the whole ship is built around these cranes. This is the most sophisticated one that there is at the moment.
Chief Engineer Mark Prins makes sure the cranes run smoothly.
The crane is the most complex part of the machinery on this vessel.
The sinews of Fairplayer's muscles are 1,000-meter cables coiled at the bottom of the ship.
This This is the heart of the crane. It's where all the movements start out. It all goes through the wires onto the crane structure.
It's time to put Fairplayer's muscles to the test. She'll warm up with a little 50-ton gas compressor. It's the moment the crew's been waiting for months.
The first lift, actually, everything is actually being tested for the first time in a real lifting situation. We might walk into, I don't know, maybe a software glitch that hasn't been looked after or whatever.
A wireless remote controls the crane. And 19 crew work to make sure the first lift comes off without a hitch. Fairplayer doesn't break a sweat. It's a huge relief for the captain.
First lift, very first lift of the Fairplayer. It was all right and it's on board. First piece of cargo. Okay, make ready for the next one.
Next up, a 730-ton fractionator used to break down crude oil. It's her first serious challenge. Lifting these gigantic objects is like choreographing a ballet of elephants. A misstep in this dance could be lethal. There'd be 730 tons of destruction on the loose.
There's always a potential risk in things that might go wrong. There's always going to be unexpected situations. You know, if there were not be, they wouldn't be called unexpected.
The cranes begin the lift, and the massive cargo drives Fairplayer down towards the bottom.
Got 10 centimeters spare.
She's near the limit and can't safely be pushed any deeper.
I mean, this is the challenge what you're all doing it for, right? The engineering should be okay, and now all things come together. That's why we're here.
A million bad things could happen. A cable could fail. The crane could break.
Yeah, okay. Both cranes.
Timing is everything.
1 tons, aft crane 100, forward crane 200.
Reactions have to be fast. The crew keeps their eyes peeled. Anything could go wrong. And suddenly something does.
Hold it!
The support saddle under the fractionator is breaking away. It's trouble for Port Captain Tolan.
It's a serious issue, yeah, for sure. I mean, the saddle is 24 tons. You don't want it falling down on anybody.
The first really big lift has a really big problem. The heavy lifter Fairplayer is trying to pick up a 730-ton refinery component. But a support saddle on its underside is detaching. If this 24-ton piece comes crashing down, it could be a disaster for any crew standing nearby. The saddle's manufacturer has to fix it, fast.
You're going to install additional clips? Yes. All right. What they're actually trying to do is reattaching the original wires, and they're trying to hook it up.
After 2 hours, success.
We've solved the problem with the saddle, and once it's actually off the trailer, the lifting can go pretty quick.
Not quick enough for Captain Kukuk.
And this just cost some time. Bummer.
The lift starts again. The enormous weight on just one side of the ship is enough to tip her over. But Fairplayer's got a cutting-edge ballast system designed to keep her upright. The pump room is at the heart of the system. It moves water around to keep the ship stable.
The moment we start pumping is the moment I have the hook tight. The hook is straight above the cargo, and we have to start to lift up.
As the cargo is lifted on the port side, water is pumped to tanks on the starboard side. The weight of the water counterbalances the cargo. As the cargo swings directly over the ship, the water is pumped back again. The system can move 45 tons of water a minute. It takes a lot of ballast to offset 730 tons. It's a delicate balance. Too little water and Fairplayer will tip. Too much, and the extra weight could leave her scraping Ortona's shallow bottom. The captain has to walk a fine line.
We're very close to the limit. We're sort of on the edge here, yeah.
On the bridge, Third Officer Victor Reyenhout monitors the ship's list. He relays the information to the captain, who orders adjustments.
Only the forecrane, the hookup.
It's not tricky to operate, you just have to know what you're doing. That's basically it. It's I push of a button, but I push the right one.
If the wrong button gets pushed, the ship would hit bottom. The 730 tons of cargo would crash down. People could get crushed. But all the right buttons do get pushed. Another test passed. The ballast system, the crew, and the cranes have all done their jobs. The cranes are compact and lightweight, but state-of-the-art technology makes them highly responsive and very strong. They put the next drum on deck, and Fairplayer's still upright.
We're on our schedules. That's all cargo on board now. And the next thing is getting the hatches back on board and lashing and securing.
The wind is picking up, sending swells into port.
The ship will list and roll very slightly, but this slight roll will actually move the cargo around a lot.
The crew has to react fast. The cargo is lashed down with wire. It's a critical job.
Potentially, when you don't lash it down, especially cargo on deck, is that you lose it at sea. And when we have a big piece of cargo sitting on one side, you lose it, the ship might go the other way. So that's the real danger of it.
Stoppers are welded onto the deck to help hold the cargo in place. Martin Tolan inspects them all.
You know, there's lots of things that might happen if the cargo actually would start shifting. It certainly is going to lead you to a situation where you don't want to be. That's for sure.
The ship's owners insist on safety first. The Jumbo Company is a small, family-owned operation, but a world leader in shipping insanely large objects. Doing it right is more important than doing it fast.
Schedule is also always a concern. I mean, a day lost is a day you don't make money. So we always try to get as fast as possible, but when we can't do it, when we need an extra day, we just need an extra day. That's just the way it is. There's only one thing that's really important, that that cargo comes in one piece on the other side. That's most important. Time is second.
Fairplayer is ready to sail, but there's one more hurdle to clear. The Italian Port Authority will give the Maiden ship her first independent inspection. She can't leave until they're sure she complies with international standards.
There are many rules in this matter.
They check all the major systems: navigation, engine, crane. Martin Tolan is worried.
Ships nowadays, they are constructed with a very high level of sophistication, and the whole process of actually getting rid of all the small bugs and you know, there's always a little something staying behind.
If they find a problem, Fairplayer's maiden voyage would be indefinitely delayed.
The ship cannot absolutely sail. If there is a deficiency, the ship is to be detained.
And that would mean a world of trouble for Jumbo. They've built their reputation on reliability. After a 3-hour inspection, Captain Kukuk gets the verdict.
That I got a no here, no deficiency, my ship is in perfect shape, ready to go.
The two main engines are fired up. ready to pump out 9,000 kilowatts of power, the equivalent of about 30 transport trucks. Fairplayer will need every bit of it. On the first leg of her journey, she'll plow her way 3,500 kilometers across the Mediterranean and Atlantic to Aviles, Spain, where she'll pick up more cargo. The pilot comes aboard to guide Fairplayer out of the harbor.
Okay, so plenty water here? Plenty water. 120.
It's November in the Mediterranean. As soon as she hits open water, there are big swells. Fairplayer can handle them, but the small pilot boat is struggling to come alongside. The pilot can't get off safely.
He doesn't like the job at the moment.
Fairplayer changes course to provide shelter from the waves.
So we position the vessel and the pilot ladder so it's safe to get off for the pilot, basically. Okay, thank you very much.
Bye.
It's still a risky transfer. At last, after 5 days in port, Fairplayer is out to sea on her first real job. Now she'll face a whole new set of challenges. The weather forecast is ominous. The Mediterranean is being lashed by high winds. Fairplayer is top-heavy and unstable, not made for big waves, and she's about to run smack into some. The heavy lifter Fairplayer has 2,800 tons of refinery components secured on board. She's headed for Aviles, Spain, straight into a formidable winter wind.
Our lashings are designed to withstand anything, but better don't take any chances.
Big waves are making the ship pitch. That loosens the lashings. They have to be continually tightened. Chief Officer Franz Hailhood checks them daily. It could mean the difference between life and death for the crew on this ship.
My main job is to get the cargo fast, to see fast the cargo, to get it really tight, the lashings. Can absolutely not move, because you would have a lot of damage.
As the wind picks up, Second Officer Rick Bazen checks the safety equipment.
We get 5-meter waves, so it's important that the lifeboats are secured firmly. So that's what I'm checking at the moment.
There are even backup rafts.
If it sinks, that life raft will come up to the surface again. So in case you miss the boat, it's still on the ship, and you end up in the water, this one will float clear.
The swells are getting bigger, and they're only halfway across the Mediterranean. The captain can find out how much worse it will get. Fairplayer's sophisticated weather forecasting system gives him the data he needs to sail safely.
You can see what's going to happen over the coming days. You see the weather going as I press the time. You see yourself sailing over your route and the weather changing with it. There's a huge high pressure area in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. From the north, everything gets squeezed down between screaming at us at the moment.
The ship struggles to make time in the head-on winds. Fairplayer is built for stability, not speed. She's chunky, 143 meters long, 27 wide. Her top speed is 17 knots. A top container ship can do 30. She's down to about 10.
Well, as you can understand, the schedule is now out the window.
But the cargo is secure, and that's paramount for these 7 Dutch officers and their apprentice and 12 Filipino seamen. Rob Louvet from Jumbo's head office is on board to make sure everyone is getting along on the new ship.
We like only 2 cultures on a vessel because then the influences of the culture differences will be as small as possible and they're easy to overcome.
As a Dutch company, Jumbo wants Dutch officers.
The Dutch, from my point of view, the Dutch sailors are the best there are.
Jumbo invests a lot to train them as heavy lift specialists. They look for highly motivated sailors who are prepared to serve demanding apprenticeships.
There are a lot of companies pulling on them to join them on their fleet. So yes, the labor market for sailors in Holland is quite competitive at the moment.
Jumbo goes to great lengths to keep the crew happy. Good food, exemplary safety, and generous vacation time. They work 4 months at sea, then 3 months off. Like most of the crew, Bosun Bobby Sajueste is married with children, and 4 months away from home is a long time.
Sometimes I have been lonely in the weekends coming, Saturday and Sunday. I stay in my cabin, thinking about my family also. Yeah, I miss my family.
But their families know that this crew's safety is Jumbo's top priority. Fairplayer's innovative weather forecasting system reduces risk. It provides alternate routes based on conditions at sea.
It can plot your route, and it's up to me whether I follow him or follow my own instinct.
The system can calculate the best route to avoid big waves or a rolling swell. In heavy seas, the ship can pitch back and forth and roll from side to side. The force of the waves and the weight of the cargo can put the ship into a parametric roll.
That is something you really have to avoid because that can be really dangerous. And that is what you probably get that with this ship when you have huge waves from the back and trying to go full ahead as fast as possible, racing the waves. That's a dangerous situation.
She can't take heavy roll. If waves hitting from the side tip her more than 30 degrees off 90, she'll be upside down. In the worst weather, she'll turn directly into the waves and wait it out. But now, the wind drops. A good time for one of the regular abandoned ship drills.
A real emergency will basically go a lot faster. The ship is sinking under you, you'll run a lot faster. And I will just follow them. I will just be the last one to leave the bridge here, and I will go with them, and I'm on the starboard lifeboat. I'm definitely not planning to go down with the ship.
Fairplayer is nearing Gibraltar, the narrow gateway to the Atlantic. More than 300 ships a day pass through this congested bottleneck.
So you make sure you're on the route, and you make sure that you stay well clear of all the others, because most of those big container ships, they're faster than us. Most smaller ships are slower than us, so you make sure that everybody has their own space.
At Gibraltar, she needs to bunker, which means take on fuel. Chief Officer Halehood tries to make radio contact.
Gibraltar port control, this is the Fairplayer.
The bad weather Fairplayer has sailed through closed the port for a few days. Now there's a long lineup at the fuel pump.
Plenty of vessels before you. I cannot tell you how many hours, but it could be days.
It could be days?
Negative.
Delay for hours, likely days.
A delay of days would be costly, over $100,000. Captain Kukuk contacts Jumbo's agent in Gibraltar.
Yeah, okay, but because then I'm going to call my owners, because why didn't you give me this information before? Because now it's almost 6 o'clock. I could have organized something at midday, because you did.
There's been a communication mix-up.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that. Then he should have contacted me.
Okay, thank you, bye-bye. I don't think we're gonna get bunkers tonight.
She can refuel in Spain, but it'll cost a lot more. Or she can try to make it across the Atlantic with the fuel she has on board.
How much fuel we got? 700 tons. That's what we got now. Just enough to get to the other side of the ocean. So.
It's a critical decision.
Keep going. We're not gonna wait for days to get fuel.
She sails past the Rock of Gibraltar and turns right towards Aviles, point blank into the North Atlantic. And the worst weather she has seen yet. Fairplayer is on her way to Aviles, Spain to pick up more cargo. The stormy North Atlantic has a dark history of sinking ships, especially in winter. It's not a great time for Fairplayer's maiden voyage. But sailors have superstitions to stave off disaster.
Very dangerous to shave. Never shave in bad weather. You'll create more bad weather. The dark area here is the main problem at the moment. Is still a high swell, which slows us down.
High winds unsettle the crew.
It's too wind. We have to be careful about tightening the lashing. It's a little bit dangerous when you are walking here. If the lashing of the cargo is not good, maybe they have some tendency to capsize the ship because of the cargo.
Bad weather puts more strain on the engines. Routine maintenance ensures they won't quit when they're needed most. 2 days after passing Gibraltar, Fairplayer enters the Bay of Biscay. It's unusually calm. Maybe the captain's 5-day beard has kept the storms at bay, for now.
Well, of course, it's November, so expect anything. Expect the unexpected.
The forecast is for high waves the day Fairplayer is scheduled to leave Aviles. If she doesn't get out on time, she could be stuck for a week. So they need to start preparing for the next big lift. The crew sorts through shackles. They pull out sling wires. The welder makes new stoppers. They're already in a race against time.
We have to make it sure that everything we're gonna lift is correct.
She'll put 1,200 more tons of cargo on deck. At last, the channel to Aviles. Fairplayer has powered her way here, one wave at a time. A pilot guides her through the long passage. The port is 2 hours inland, sheltered from the Biscay storms. It's been here since the Middle Ages, when Aviles was one of Biscay's most important harbors. But it's not much deeper than Ortona. Fairplayer has a draft of just 6 meters here. She'll have to keep her ballast light, which means she'll be less stable. And the new components are immense. 2 600-ton coke drums used for refining oil residue. The tween decks come off to make room. But there's a snag and the captain's not happy.
It's 4:30 now. We started at 1:45, and so far everything we've done is a complete waste of time.
The decks are blocking a track used by a port crane. They have to be picked up again and moved.
This is the times that I want to jump overboard. The guys could have had a night in the town probably or something like that. And now it's just, well, you end up doing night work again.
The clock is ticking. Big waves will soon be hitting Biscay. Come morning, the bad weather is back.
Horrible weather, especially designed for us.
What's worse, The drum has been put too close to the ship.
The piece, they just placed the piece on the quay wherever they fancied. I would have rather have it a little bit further away from the ship and a little bit more forward, but this is where it ended up.
Before the lift starts, First Officer Dennis Terepstra has to inspect welds in the ballast tanks to make sure that there are no leaks.
I need to go all the way to the aft. We are pretty sure they are not popping, but our engineering department is just calculating it to be absolutely sure.
The ballast tanks are a trap for carbon monoxide, so work time down here is short.
An alarm is telling me that the oxygen level is too low and that I have to get out of the tank.
If he doesn't leave, he'll suffocate. Once again, Port Captain Martin Tolan oversees the loading. He's responsible for all the engineering that goes into picking up and placing the cargo. But Captain Kukuk is the overall authority. Martin likes to use both cranes. This time he can't, because of the drum's bad positioning.
The aft crane cannot reach that far out. It's easier for us to pick it up a single crane lift and move it all the way port forward.
On the bridge, Third Officer Reyenhut starts to move water in the ballast tanks. With only one crane lifting, the drum is less stable in the air. The wind is moving it. 600 tons of cargo could be getting out of control.
Once they are above deck here, they catch a lot of wind. It's very difficult to control it.
The drum needs to be stabilized by human muscle power.
We're gonna put some steering line for the safety in case of emergency. We can pull this one.
You need those stugger lines on there. You can pull a few tons, but we have it under control.
Now 600 tons is about to come down on a few sheets of plywood.
It's going to completely crush the wood. So the steel of the saddle and the steel of the hatch will actually be sort of glued together by the compressing of the wood.
The 40-meter drum has to be positioned within just a few centimeters. If it's off, there will be big trouble. Its weight has to be supported by the structural frames of the ship. If it isn't resting on the frames, 600 tons could go right through the deck.
Stop.
They land it safely.
One down, one to go.
With 2 drums on board, the deck is getting crowded. Everything must be in perfect sync to squeeze in the last drum. If it's not, the cargo and cranes could be seriously damaged. In Aviles, Spain, Fairplayer is preparing to load the last massive piece of her oversized cargo. The crew is under pressure. They're trying to get out before bad weather closes the port, but it's a tricky and dangerous load. Port Captain Tolan uses a simulation of the crane's movements. He has to be precise to safely shoehorn the last 600-ton drum onto the crowded deck.
We have made a three-dimensional study of this to actually see if there's enough space on the position where it might touch the crane or it might touch the cargo. In general, you would not be banging around with anything weighing over 600 tons.
But there's a problem. The drum isn't ready to be loaded. It's sitting on a truck 100 meters away.
And now they say that the crew of the truck actually has to rest, which is a bit awkward. If they come in late, we might have to postpone until tomorrow, which is setting us back a full day. So we're trying to push them a little bit, or push them hard, actually, to get the piece down alongside the ship at 12 o'clock. They better be here by noon.
Pushing works. By noon, the lift is underway. The last giant column has to swing by the crane with just 1 meter of clearance.
Okay, we're coming slowly inside now. Swing to the left.
It's going to be a tight fit. The coke drum is maneuvered centimeter by centimeter to make sure it doesn't hit the crane.
Yeah, just try to make sure that it goes on board in one piece.
It takes 3 painstaking hours.
We have cargo. We're making money.
There's now 1,200 more tons aboard this mighty lifter. 1,200 more tons that could come loose and sink her on a wild sea. Fairplayer's just hours from hauling anchor, but the weather's getting worse. The Bay of Biscay is getting rough, too rough. The port is closed, and Fairplayer is stuck.
Then we'll just wait. That's all we can do.
It's frustrating, but this is the life Captain Kookok loves.
Basically, I like sailing. It's different every day. I tried once when I was 15 years ago to see if I would like a day job, a normal day job. So I got on the bus three mornings in a row at 7:30, and then I said, stuff, this is no life.
After 2 days of waiting, the port finally reopens.
The pilots will board at 10 o'clock, and we can finally get out of here. That is, so stayed an extra 2 nights. The crew has all been to the pub. Everybody happy there. Company not so happy, lost a day, but that's how it goes.
But at the end of the channel, Biscay is still rough.
This kind of weather is the reason why we secure and less the cargo.
The cargo has a long way to go. Fairplayer's route will take her south of the Azores, across the Atlantic, around the tip of Florida, through the Gulf of Mexico to Port Arthur, Texas. Back in Gibraltar, the captain thought he could make it across the Atlantic with the fuel on board. But the rough weather burned more than he bargained for. Now she has to bunker at the nearby port of Gijón. Low-grade ship fuel is the cheapest there is, 25 cents a liter. It's only one refining grade above asphalt, thicker than tar. It can't even flow until they heat it to 40 degrees Celsius. At sea, Fairplayer gets 6 meters per liter. She needs 500,000 liters to cross the Atlantic. First engineer Mark Prince makes sure all that fuel doesn't overflow the tanks.
Fiat is coming in through this connection, via this line, and going into these 2 tanks. I can monitor the pressure in my bunker line, so it's sure there's no fuel coming on deck.
Fuel on the deck would harden to an asphalt-like mess. It would have to be scraped off. All fueled up, Fairplayer is ready to set off into the unpredictable Atlantic. Captain Kookok studies the weather forecast. Conditions can be particularly dangerous in the winter, but not this time.
For the next couple of days, it looks pretty good. We have a big high pressure, the Azores high. We go south of it, meaning we have the wind in the back for the next couple of days, and it's quite calm weather.
The crew has time for routine maintenance. The calm seas help Fairplayer make up lost time.
Well, we're at the middle of the Atlantic Ocean at the moment. We, a couple of days ago, when we saw the weather forecast being really nice and we were making good speed, we actually brought forward the ETA a little bit. So we are going for the 18th evening, and it looks good.
But it doesn't look good for long. There's engine trouble.
So here we see the main data of the port side main engine. Currently it's not running.
The ship's speed drops from 60 knots to 8. They're losing precious time. The captain checks with Chief Engineer Prince to see what he's doing about it. But the data screens don't tell him why the engine has shut down. They drain the oil to get a better look. No luck. Running out of ideas, Chief Engineer Prince changes the fuel pump. Success.
No, it's always nice when afterwards, when everything is running again, that you find the real problem, of course. but at the moment you're not sure you're dealing with the right thing. So it's always a little bit tense at that moment.
Up to speed again, Fairplayer is just 2 days from port. Through the Gulf of Mexico, dotted with oil rigs, the fine weather holds. But the captain's good luck is about to change.
It's rather foggy at the moment. The port has been closed for a couple of days.
A thick soup obliterates everything, including Fairplayer and dozens of ships around her.
There's on the radar we see a few ships around us all waiting. Some of them have been waiting here for 3 days. Well, let's hope it clears up quickly and we can go inside. This is a bit of a waste of time like this.
She is stopped short just 2 kilometers from the finish line.
Burned a lot of fuel to be here at a certain time, and now it's just hurry up and wait.
After 3 full days of waiting, the fog lifts. The entrance to Port Arthur looks like a parking lot, and a dangerous one. The wind has picked up. A nearby ship is dragging her anchor. She's out of control.
Ship over here is coming straight for us. He says he's starting up his engine, and I bloody well hope he hurries up, because otherwise he'll be right on our bow.
She's drifting and about to slam right into Fairplayer. The fog outside Port Arthur has lifted. Now the captain can see an out-of-control ship drifting straight for him. A collision could seriously damage both vessels.
The ship is dragging anchor. He was right in front of us, about 6 cables away.
The ship isn't starting its engines. It's almost too late. Captain Cookhook has to take a chance and immediately fire up his cold engines.
It's scary because you have a chance you damage your engine when you do that.
They are just minutes from impact. Their only hope is evasive action.
I'm now with the bow pushing sideways so we can get some clear space.
But Fairplayer's speed and maneuverability are seriously limited.
But our anchor is still in the water. I can't get to my anchor because he's almost on top of it.
At the last moment, the other ship starts its engines.
Now I see some smoke coming out of it.
The 2 lumbering giants inch away from each other.
This is anchor. Now he has to retrieve his anchor and go and drop it. I hope behind us.
A close call. Fairplayer is ready to move into port, but so is everybody else. Port Arthur is one of the busiest in North America, a main entry point for crude oil. The Sabine Channel is the only road to the refineries. There are dozens of giant tankers in a channel that tightens to just 120 meters. After a 4-hour trip up the Sabine, Fairplayer approaches her dock. She's come 11,000 kilometers in 24 days. All she has to do now is unload. But that won't be easy. The giant tankers and tight channel make it treacherous. The tankers create waves that push the smaller ship around.
It's a bit tricky at the moment. Every time a ship passes by this channel, we're getting dragged off the shore and pushed back again.
When Fairplayer moves, so does the cargo. Stevedores are handling it from a boom lift. Their position is getting precarious.
When a ship passes by, it's getting quite dangerous on the top there for the guys handling the big shackles.
The captain has to stop the unloading.
And now we have to disconnect it.
When it starts again, the crew are very cautious.
When I go like this, it means that he has to lower the hook as easiest as he can, inch by inch.
With the delays caused by the tankers, it takes 2 days to unload the cargo safely. The captain does a final check. All's well.
After that was the end of voyage number 1. Start with voyage number 2.
Her next job, transporting giant turbines from New York to Ireland.
Never a quiet moment, never a dull moment. It's never exactly the same as the last time. It's always something different, and that keeps it fun.
This mighty ship will do 6 trips in the next year. But this, her maiden voyage, is the one that mattered most. Fairplayer has proven herself. She can now claim her title, the world's strongest muscle ship.